right, so again, welcome. Let's talk about affordability today with the broadband. In case you don't know me, I'm Laurie Ringler. I'm the broadband project manager for the State Broadband Office. We have an office of 4 people currently. So we have a grants program manager, Lane Bailey, who I think is on the call with us. And we have our administrative analyst, Kimberly Young. And then we also have our director, Glenn Howie. And Glenn is actually tied up today, so he's left me to run the circus. So like always, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll get to them as soon as we can. We're going to talk about affordability, like I said. So just to kind of give you a short agenda, we do have a couple of updates, nothing major this week. We'll also talk about some affordability statistics that relate to Arkansas. The bulk of our conversation is going to circle around the Affordable Connectivity Program. And lastly, we're going to talk about, community enrollment events. So again, I said we meet every other week, and our next meeting is going to be on Friday, August 25th for our office hours. I know at the beginning we talked about doing these on every Thursday, but I have a conflict like every other Thursday. So we're going to do the office hours on Friday, August 25th, and I will send out invitations to that probably next week sometime. So just a couple of updates. The last time we met, the last few times I think we met, we talked about our digital skills and opportunity survey. We received over 12,000 responses to that, which is unprecedented from what we can tell from the other states. So thank you all for reaching out, sharing it on your social media, sending emails to your list, all of the work you did. We heard from Solomon yesterday in a different meeting with Heartland Forward, but he was at a Tennessee broadband meeting and they received a whole 1,500 broadband survey responses. So the fact that we got 12,000 and there's way less people that live in Arkansas than live in Tennessee really is amazing to us. So again, thank you so much. That data is being analyzed right now, and we should be able to have some maps and other cool things to show you with the results of that as soon as it's actually our friends at the Cooperative Extension Service that is parsing that data right now. So as soon as something's ready, I'll share it with y'all and interpret those maps for you. Our next kind of little homework task is related to digital asset mapping. And what we're trying to do is collect information from across the state, from partners, nonprofits, libraries, anyone who offers digital skills training, or they offer devices that maybe they loan out to people that and hotspots that people can come check out. Anything that relates to like free services and broadband, and especially when it comes to digital skills training and opportunities. So there's a link here that I'll provide to you after the meeting, but it goes to a Google form that asks you for more details about your digital program that you are reporting on it. We have to collect that data for our digital skills and opportunity plan, and we're going to start really pushing this over the next week. So y'all are actually like the first group we've told about it, but early next week, you'll start seeing social media posts and everything from us with the link to this. But it's really important that we gather as much information as possible so we can use that information to mold our digital skills and opportunity plan, and also show to the federal government that we have a lot of people doing this work already. So, and then lastly, I think we talk about reports all the time, but the big project that our office is working on is our initial proposal document that goes to the U.S. Department of Commerce. And that is the big plan on how we're going to spend the $1 billion in BEAD funding. It's due December the 27th, but we're hoping we can have it done like in October. So there's a lot of work going on up here as it relates to that right now. And then like I was talking about, the digital skills and opportunity plan is due in November. So you're going to start seeing more and more stuff from us about, here's some paragraphs that we'd love for y'all to read and get some feedback on. Here's some plans or some opportunities as it relates to digital skills training that we, might want to implement statewide. We've been taking like short little field trips to, well, yesterday we went to the Arkansas Regional Innovation Hub and saw what they are doing as it relates to digital skills training, and that was amazing. So if your county has anything, like that you'd love to show off, please send me an email, and maybe we can take some time and run up and see that as well. Big things happening up here. So let's get on to our scheduled topic. We're going to talk about affordability and what does that mean? So one of the major reasons that people do not subscribe to internet beyond not having access, which, as you know, we've made a lot of progress on the access piece over the last few years, but there's still a huge gap when it comes to what is considered to be affordable internet. This is nationwide. There's about 18.1 million households that have access to broadband. The line runs right out front of their house, but they're not able to subscribe to it because they just can't afford it. That number in Arkansas is actually very, very similar. And using the Arkansas Broadband Master Plan, which is the survey data that we collected back in 2022, and some of you may have remembered whenever they did all those county visits for that plan. Behind availability, cost was a very big issue for Arkansans when it comes to subscribing to the internet. So, like I said, we've made a lot of progress over the past, 2 or 3 years on the availability gap, and this number might be down to like 50% instead of 60%, but that affordability gap still exists. So what can we do as a state broadband office and as a state and as a community to kind of eliminate some of this affordability gap that you see there? One of those things is by utilizing the FCC's Affordable Connectivity Program. The Affordable Connectivity Program is a $30 a month discount offered by the government, but it's applied to your internet service bill directly from the provider. So some providers have the option also where they're issuing out devices where you can get up to a discount off $100 off of a tablet or a computer through that service provider. I don't have a list of what providers do the computer part, but I know it's not everyone. There's a lot of hurdles when it relates to that with the FCC. So I think some service providers have just kind of declined to participate in that part. But most, if not all, service providers in the state are participating in the ACP program. The application website for the ACP program is getinternet.gov. Anyone can log in there and you can enter your information and they'll tell you if you're approved or not. And then an organization, it's a nonprofit called Education Superhighway, has an enrollment wizard tool at getacp.org/Arkansas, where you can put in some information about yourself and it'll tell you right away if you're qualified for it. So if you don't know if you qualify for the ACP, and we'll go into some of those qualifications here in a second, but that tool is available to kind of help people understand what's available to them. This was just recently announced, I think in the last couple of weeks, but the NTIA has declared some areas of Arkansas as high cost areas, meaning the cost of internet is even more, I guess, extra, is less affordable for residents in these areas than it would be for the rest of the state. And those people, instead of the $30 a month discount, they are now qualified to receive a $75 per month discount from the ACP. I'm not sure exactly, like this is the highest quality map they've given me so far from the NTIA. So even they're really not prepared to, send this out to everyone. But if this looks to be like your area, and I think this is like Scott County maybe, and then clearly the Delta. And I'm not, if you know which county this is, that's awesome, because even looking at my map, I think it's Searcy County or Newton County. But these areas, when you apply for that ACP program and you're approved, your discount's actually going to be the $75 rather than the $30. So that's a really awesome improvement from where we were. And then, as you know, if you travel the state like we have, these are the areas that probably need the $75 more than other areas. Donnie, I would send you a link to the map, but strangely enough, the NTIA has not even sent me a link. All I got is a screenshot of the of the state. So I'm still sharing it. But as soon as we have more information on the $75 and exactly what zip codes or what census blocks are qualified for the additional discount, I'll send it out to all the broadband committees. And then, of course, we'll be talking about it on our social media and all of that. So in Arkansas, when it comes to ACP adoption, looking at data that was as most recent as May of this year, we have over 600,000 households in the state that qualify for the ACP program, yet only 175,000 of them are enrolled. And part of that problem is it's education, from what we can tell. People are not aware of the program. People are having trouble getting through the applications process. And there's got to be a better way, but I think it's going to be a lot of coaching and advertising and just spreading the word about the program. So again, just to kind of summarize what the Affordable Connectivity Program does, it covers up to $30 a month on a household's internet service plan. And again, in those high cost areas, it's now $75 a month. An applicant or an approved person can use that funding or that subsidy to apply it to any existing service plan, or they may be new subscribers to internet in general just because they didn't think they could afford it in the first place. It's applied on your service bill every month. The money goes directly from the FCC to the service provider. So all you have to do is tell your service provider that you qualified and provide them your application number, and then they'll take care of the rest for you. In some areas, well, if your internet bill is less than $30, then it would cover also your taxes and fees. And then, like I've already told you, it's a program from the FCC, not from any other division. And then it's administered by, when you log into the website, you'll see things about the Universal Service Administrative Company, and that's just the administrators of that funding. Lastly, and I touched on this earlier, not all providers participate in that device discount, but like somebody said in the chat, let me scroll back up. Yeah, Venetia says, if you do go to the ACP's application website, there is a providers in my area tool, and you can see a list of what providers are participating in the ACP program. And on that too, it shows you which ones are participating in the device discounts as well. Thank you. So what qualifies someone for the ACP program? The main one, or the big one that they use, is that if your total income is at 200% or below the federal poverty level. And again, I will provide you this presentation with the links that are clickable. So if you have questions about how much that is, that's a sliding scale based on the number of people in your household, and it's even varied by state. So we can give that to you. At least the other qualification, this is one I think is most popular and the most commonly used, especially in the people that I've dealt with in the past, is that if anyone in your household participates or receives assistance from SNAP, Medicaid, if they have housing vouchers, if they're on SSI benefits, if they participate in WIC, or they're on a veterans pension or a survivor's benefit, they automatically qualify. And the good news is that the federal government will recognize you because you already are receiving those federal benefits, and there's not much to do with the application process because they already know you. The Lifeline program, which is a discount on telephone service that a lot of our senior citizens receive, that's an automatic qualifier as well. So if you know someone that receives Lifeline benefits for their telephone, they can also receive the $30 or $75 for the ACP benefit on their internet service. If you have a student in your house that is receives free or reduced school lunches, that is a qualifier for the whole household. If they do not participate in that community eligibility provision school, which means the whole school district is getting free lunches due to a USDA program, but if your child is just one of a few in the school district that have free lunches, all you have to provide is a letter from your school district that I think the school district provides to you automatically anyway, that says that your student qualifies for the free and reduced school lunches for the school year, like 2023, 2024. If you have a college student that lives in your house and receives a federal Pell Grant, they also qualify for the program. So it doesn't have to be, the person owning the house. It can be a student that lives in your household as well. And then some broadband providers have other low income programs for discounts. So that would automatically qualify those people as well. So just some data that we pulled from the survey that we just ended. 75% of the people of the 12,000 that took our survey said they were not aware of the ACP program. So as you can see, part of our enrollment issues is that people are just not aware of the program, believe it or not. And I feel like we talk about it all the time, but this is where our broadband committees, I think, are going to have a major play in this. Of those same respondents, 52% asked for more information about the ACP program. So unfortunately, I took an anonymous survey, so I don't have a way to send information to them from my office, but I'm really hoping that if we can provide y'all the materials and answer questions that y'all have at the community or at the county broadband committee level, that y'all can be the ones who help us reach those people who would like to enroll and qualify, and they just maybe don't know about the program. So there's a few places online where you can download some free resources to promote the ACP, either through the mail, on your social media. There's one website that had door hangers even you can print out if you want to go that far. But the two that I've linked here, and I'll share these with you again, like I was talking about earlier, Education Superhighway, the nonprofit, they do a lot of work with ACP. And so they have a resource hub that you can sign up for. And once you've logged in, you have access to so much information. They have the words that you can copy and paste into emails. They have graphics. They have the door hangers. They have mailers that you can put your own logo on to the corner and, print and use them to stuff envelopes. There's things that specials, flyers and different materials that you can supply to school districts. And with school starting next week, now is probably a really good time to be talking about that. So that's my top choice. That's where I go when anybody asks me for ACP information. The FCC also does have some community resources in their own toolkit. And like I said, I'll provide that link to you as well. And there's just a few like graphics and things that you can download, the top 10 reasons to join the ACP and things like that. Danielle, are you on the call? So one of the things that Danielle Watson with the Cooperative Extension Service and I did back in the summer, it's still summer, but it's been a few months ago, at least it seems like, we had an ACP enrollment event there at the Veterans Center in Risen. And we kind of did it as a train the trainer event where we brought in some local community leaders that deal with people that would qualify for the ACP program, like the library and the health department. And I think DHS was invited, but they had a conflict. And so we had these people come in and then we walked them through how to enroll someone in the ACP program. We answered their questions. We had a great teaching session. Once that was over, we kind of opened the front door and we invited the public in to sign up for the ACP so we could practice what we learned. The Cooperative Extension Service has a mobile computer lab. So that's what Danielle and I used for our computers for our registrants. And we sat for an hour and we signed up. I think it was about 10 people that came through that afternoon. But, the thing that we learned, and this might be the reason why we have so few people enrolled in the ACP program, is that of the people that we helped that day, a lot of them didn't even have the basic computer skills to fill out the application. Like we sat them down with laptops and, with the touch pads on them, and they didn't know how to use the touch pad. So we had to go find, a mouse to plug into the side of it. And then, half of them typed, with one finger. So That's part of why we only got 10 people signed up during that hour. But it was a real educational experience, I think, even for us, because we now kind of identify more of the issues and why people are not signing up for the ACP. Because the application is not, it's got a lot of blanks to fill in, and you have to answer a lot of questions and click a lot of buttons. So if you're not a big computer user, or even worse, if you're trying to do that on your phone, it's very challenging. So this is something that we can duplicate. If your county wants to hold an enrollment event, please send me an email. If I'm not available, I have a presentation I can send to you and we can walk through it together, and you can become the ACP expert in your area. Out of 75 counties, that would be awesome if one of y'all could do that. So all you really need to host that ACP enrollment event, you need some people that are eligible for the ACP. Oh, great. Thanks, Donnie. Donnie says that we actually got his mom signed up that day. So yeah, it's the word of mouth that's really important when it comes to ACP program. But all you need for an ACP enrollment is access to people that are eligible, and you can find those at schools and libraries. The housing authority, which we had a meeting with earlier today. Food pantries are going to have people that qualify that maybe just don't know about the program yet. You need somebody who's got knowledge about the ACP program. Maybe that's me, maybe that's somebody in your community that has worked with these people. Go to your service providers. If you have an office in town that for the cable company or the AT&T, or they have people who know all about the ACP, I promise you. Of course, you're going to need some Wi-Fi access to hook your computer up to sign those people up. And then lastly, I would recommend a laptop. If you need to use a tablet, make it be a larger one, because the people that you're dealing with aren't going to have, the strong digital skills. And some of them don't even have the eyesight to read a tiny little application on his phone. I know I struggle with seeing it on, on my phone. Some optional things you might need would be a scanner. Some people, when they get towards the end of the application, if the ACP program can't identify who they are based on their name and the last four of their social security number and their birth date, the application will ask them to upload some documentation to prove they are who they say they are, or to prove that they qualify. So we did have a few people who needed to upload like a copy of their driver's license. And if you have a scanner, that might be easy. You can also take pictures of it with a phone and then attach those somehow. So, that was another one of our educational moments in Ryzen, was that how do we get these people's documentation uploaded for them when we didn't have a scanner. So we take a picture with their phone and email it to us. And, we had to do a roundabout way to doing it, but we made it happen. And then lastly, in the order to complete the whole circle of the registration process, you need to connect with that customer or that person's service provider. So again, if you have a cable company in town, or if you have, the AT&Ts or the phone people or whatever, and you do an event, it would be really great if you had somebody from that company sitting there as well, who can help sign up, transfer that approved application into their billing system and have that discount activated right away. Hunter, that's great news that your Pell Grant got you qualified. I saw that they had done some improvements even on processing Pell Grant applications lately. So that's awesome. Hey. The other thing I can share with you is that there are 5 organizations in the state that received grants from the FCC to coordinate ACP outreach events. So Heartland Forward, who is working with us on our digital skills and opportunity plan, and UAMS, you're going to ask me what IDHI means, and I always forget, but something about Digital Health Initiative. I can't ever remember what the first I stands for. But they have, between Heartland Forward and UAMS, they are equipped to do statewide outreach for the ACP program. So if your county would like to organize an ACP outreach event, they've both told me you can reach out to them directly, and they have the manpower. They've got tablets. They've got Wi-Fi hotspots if that's a struggle in your area, and they're ready to start hitting the road and helping you get signed up. UMS actually has an event scheduled for next week in Pine Bluff at the Pine Bluff Housing Authority, so that's really exciting for them. In North Central Arkansas, the Boston Mountain Rural Health Center has a new community outreach person, Amber. So if you're in their service area, which is like 6 or 8 counties through the north central part of the state, I know Marshall, their home base is in Marshall, but if that's an organization in your area, thank you, Kimberly, please reach out to Amber. If you're in the Delta, Dr. Howard Smith with the Plum Foundation, they're based out of Crittenden County in West Memphis, but they do serve all of the Delta counties. And again, they're ready to start serving people with the ACP outreach grants. And then the last group of people kind of follow the Arkansas River Valley, and it's called RVAC. And I don't have the contact person from them yet, but if that's your area of the state and you'd like to get in touch with them, just reach out to me and I'll find who their new contact person is there. I have the president's information, but I know she's not the one doing it. So still working on collecting that. But again, all of these people received a grant from the FCC to encourage ACP enrollment and to get our numbers up. So I think they're all ready and willing to help at this point. They just might need some encouragement or some volunteers to take them on. So if that's you, again, I'll send this to you and you can email them directly, or you can reach out to our office and we'll connect you. So in addition to the ACP, there are a few additional affordability initiatives that our office is focused on. You know, like we always say, if you went to our Broadband Roadshow meetings, broadband service is not regulated. So we really have no power to tell people how much they can charge you for service. I'm so sorry. I wish it was another way, but either I would have lots of friends or lots of enemies, and we'll just keep it, middle of the road the way we are now. But some things that we are working on in our office that we do have the power to do is encourage, service providers to offer rates that are affordable. There's a lot of research and discussion about, what is affordable going on right now. I'll tell you, the 2022 Broadband Master Plan put the price point at like $50. So, what is $50 to you? Well, for some families, that might still be super expensive, but, maybe with the ACP and they can get it down to $20, that might be more in their price range. But a lot of discussion is happening around the affordability issue, partly because that's like one of the bullet points of that initial proposal plan that we have to submit to the Commerce Department for our BEAD money. So you'll probably hear more about that from us soon. What we can do is with our grants that we have coming up, and even in the past when we've run grant rounds, we always give bonus points to service providers that participate in the ACP and have lower cost services than maybe other applicants for the same project area. We are working with various organizations and service providers to expand the middle mile broadband infrastructure, which, if you don't know what that means, every little company that you subscribe to for your internet service has to get that internet from somewhere else. And so there's bigger freeways, is how I always think about it, of internet data flying around. And for instance, like if you're in Little Rock, your data may come from Memphis or Dallas or, Kansas City or, other places before it even gets to Little Rock. So if we can increase that middle mile infrastructure across the state, that's going to bring down the prices that our service providers are having to pay to get to that data, which will give them the ability to bring their price down as well. We're going to be promoting, other organizations that work with families on broadband affordability through private partnerships. There's a lot of other programs like LIHEAP that help people pay for utilities, and those things are being incorporated into starting to incorporate broadband into their discounts as well. So you'll see that grow, I think, as well as over the next few years. And then lastly, like I just said, affordability is a big part of the planning that we're doing now for the BEAD funds and the digital equity funds. So we're doing a lot of discussion and trying to figure out what would be the best way, if the ACP ends, how can we continue to provide service or continue to keep prices down for those families so no one loses connectivity should something change. And I think that's it. That is it. A lot of words today. So are there questions that I can answer? Let's see. I see there's hands raised. The Kelcher Box, do you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then Melissa put her hand down before I could say anything to her. So is there anybody else that has any questions? There's a lot of information.
Will we get this PowerPoint that you are working from today?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to send it to you in a format so y'all can click on the links and everything too, because I know that's really helpful as you continue with your own personal research for the ACP program and then other affordability things. Does any broadband committee want to share like some good news, like anything exciting going on? Hey, Tabitha of the Columbia County Broadband Committee.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm good.
Okay. So hold on. Okay, can you hear me?
So
I'm really excited because Walnut Hill has Vanessa, who's on the call as well. She and I have been in contact and communication, and they are making flyers. I've been in contact as well with the high school, the school districts, Magnolia, Emerson, and Taylor. They're going to provide flyers for every student. She's currently working on those, and I will get those out to them next week, hopefully, about the Affordability Connectivity Program. And I've also contacted like our FFA groups and the 4-H group to see if they would be interested in helping with the enrollment process, as well as maybe using some students to do some training. And they are absolutely on board with that as well. So kind of excited. Been a pretty busy week trying to make connections and stuff. So hopefully that will, and our group on Facebook is growing as well, which makes me happy.
That's great though. I mean, and
yeah,
we talk about that all the time, that those kids, especially your high school kids and college, I mean, that's your source of digital skills. I mean, if your community is one of those that is struggling with, computers, and, you have a higher population of senior citizens than maybe an average community does, I mean, tap into that easy resources of kids that need volunteer hours perhaps to graduate. And get them to help.
The school teacher organizations as well, and student council, they were also interested. So anyway, just wanted to share that because it's been an exciting week and people have been very receptive to help us in whatever way we need to.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Tabitha. Yeah, Columbia County
thank you.
Is a lot like some of your other counties where everyone, like in Magnolia, has, I'm going to say, decent broadband service. Some of them still tell me that it's not great. But then once you get out of Magnolia, everything around that has nothing. So we have a very lengthy list of people, I think, that live on County Road 45. Is that what it is?
52, 50. Well, and I was interested to see that a friend of mine who has joined our Facebook group. She lives directly behind the new police station, which is a kind of a rural area, but not really. And she says she has no access. Her cell service is horrible. So she was like, okay, all this online stuff, I can't even get online. I was like, I understand. Believe me, I do. I currently do not have internet because a storm came through 2 days ago. So.
Oh no. Well, I'm glad you were able to join us. And, we have, that's kind of why we do these. Unfortunately, we have to do them online because I don't have time to visit all 75 counties like every month for sure. I would love to. I hate sitting in the office every day now, but this is just the easiest way to talk to the most people at one time. And so we really hope that you take the information that you get from us and you turn it around and you share it with the people in your community, whether that's talk to your newspaper or post it on Facebook or, whatever works best for you. And like Tabitha said, her Facebook group and Union County's Facebook group actually are very active. And they share all of the things that we share in these meetings with those people. So if you need some tips or help with that, feel free to reach out. Johnson County has been distributing flyers at open houses, so that's great. And then the library's doing a lot of work too. Yes, your county library system is also heavily involved in the ACP program. So if you need to look for an expert locally, I would recommend you start with your librarian. Maybe you should have had this conversation like 2 weeks ago, and then we could have caught more of the open houses. We've been busy. Jason, if a school wants to schedule something for enrolling in the ACP, how do we get that info? You can reach out to me or any of those people that I showed you that have the outreach grants, and we'll connect you with somebody. Worst case scenario, I'll take the day off and go wherever you're at. You tell I'm ready to get out of the office. It's been a long summer. Oh, that's right. You are in Columbia County too. Never mind. We're coming to
And
Magnolia
that's what I was going to,
at the end of the month, right?
yes, for the Rotary meeting.
Yes.
And I was thinking we could work with Walnut Hill, hopefully, and the schools, and maybe get in the library or whomever will figure that out to get an enrollment activity going.
Yeah, that'd be great. We don't always talk about it, but the ACP program can be applied to your cell phone bill too if you have a smartphone. You know, we would rather you apply it to your home internet so everybody in the house can kind of share the service. But, you know, if you're in an area that doesn't necessarily have broadband access today, you know, you can still qualify for the ACP and have it just apply it to your cell phone bill rather than your home internet. And then maybe when you get internet, you transfer it to your home internet. Anybody else want to share anything fun? Okay, well, thank you all for coming. And like they always say, I'll give you back 20 minutes of your day. Again, we'll send an email out with all of the links and the presentation in the next day or so. And then this will get recorded. Well, it is being recorded, and we'll post it to YouTube maybe by tomorrow. It depends on how busy I am. So Monday at the latest for sure. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to our office. We are here to serve you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.